Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kelvin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and this is a deck spotlight on a Miracle Grow Rogue that was famously played by Eloise to #1 legend. Now, I do believe the deck list was created by a player named Cross7994 to give credit where credit was due, but given Eloise's popularity and the fact that she piloted this deck so successfully, I think she's the primary person associated with this particular list. Now, of course, the reason this is called Miracle Grow, at least by me, is because this has got all the standard shell of a Miracle Rogue deck, so Gadget Sand Auctioneer, cheap spells, preps, counterfeit coins, all that fun stuff. That standard Miracle Rogue package, but it includes some of the new plant-style cards from Journey to Grow. And, of course, plants grow, Miracle Grow, you guys get it. It's a pun. Ha ha ha. I think actually even the fact that the Miracle Rogue is named Miracle Rogue, as far as I can remember, comes from something from Magic the Gathering with a deck called Miracle Grow. Although, I don't really know the details there, so you might have to look that one up. But anyway, Razor Petal Lasher is the first of those new plant cards. This one just adds some cheap spells to your hand that synergize really nicely with Gadget Sand Auctioneer. But of course, you've also got the new Rogue Unguro Legendary Minion, Shares Corpse Flower, another plant. This kind of becomes the new Tomb Pillager in this deck in a way. It's your 5 attack 4 drop that just keeps coming back. It may not give you coins, but it gives you consistent onboard value so you can press your face, make some efficient trades. And then you've also got the new Vile Spine Slayers, another plant in this deck that just serves as fantastic removal, pushing through taunts, removing big threats from your opponent, etc. So all of this comes together to do what Miracle Rogue does, which is to find ridiculous ways to win games. There's not really any specific win condition in this deck. In other words, there's not Leroy cold blood to win you a game outright. It's more about just generating resources, going off on big turns, drawing cards on Gadget Sand Auctioneer, developing really cheap Arcane Giants at the right time, and eventually just sort of pushing your opponent over with minions on board, with damage, the occasional giant Edwin Van Cleef. The deck just finds ways to win, as Miracle Rogue has often done, although it's a little bit less obvious the path to victory in this deck. Like I said, without the Leroy, without the Conceals, without the big questing adventures, those kinds of plays. This is more of a scrappy version of the deck that just tends to take firm control of the board at some point and then turns the corner and kills the opponent. So as far as other new Journey to Grow cards in this list, you've also got Hallucination. This is just a really cheap spell, again, that cycles off Gadget Sand Auctioneer, but also generates you some nice resources because you can get some cool stuff from your opponent's class quite often. You've also got Mimic Pod. This is essentially just Arcane Intellect for Rogue, right? It's a draw 2 for 3. You can prep it out, for instance, in a pinch to make it free, and occasionally you can hit really big, getting the double shares in. Just you can get another Arcane Giant to toss down for free. There's all kinds of big wins when you get to double cards in your hand, and I think that's it for the new. Yeah, that looks like the complete Journey to Unguro package that has been slotted into this deck. So all of that said, this is clearly a great deck. It's probably much better, in fact, than Quest Rogue, which I think is the most popular version of Rogue on the ladder. But this seems much more consistent at a high competitive level and clearly was piloted to the very top of the ranked ladder in a region, which says it's very good. So all that said, I think the best way to get a better feel for this deck, how it works, try to learn all the different pieces, is to actually just take it out onto the ranked ladder. So let's do exactly that. At this point in the season, I'm actually heading along through rank 4, still the first third of the season. So this is still quite competitive, mostly Legend players still ranking up fairly early in the season. A lot of Taunt Warriors at this point, a lot of Hunters at this point. Occasional Priest, and not much else that I've seen so far on the ladder, but you never really know. It's still, of course, the first week of an expansion, so just about anything can actually happen. We'll just have to wait and see what we run into. So a Paladin, for instance, right off the bat, I don't know what this is about. I have seen some sort of aggro buff Paladins. So I have to say, my experience with this deck is a little bit limited. And, well, actually, this particular deck is very limited, and I really haven't played Miracle Rogue lately. So as far as mulligans are concerned, I'm kind of learning it right alongside you guys. I think Swashbucklers and the really cheap stuff like this that gets you out onto the board is nice. Unfortunately, we whiffed on the patches right away. I kept the hallucinations just because they're another way to start the game and find some resources. These are also great later on with, you know, Auctioneer and stuff, but not bad early either. So I think we'll just weapon here. We don't really need to do anything crazy yet. Developing the weapon, clearing his board seems fine. That signals a pretty control style of Paladin. So we may not want to wait forever to kill this guy. There's going to be some issues. We can sap one Tyrion, maybe destroy it with a Vile Spine. But eventually we're going to run out of gas to some extent. And, you know, patches into Blessing of Might to hit his face typically would feel like a pretty bad play, but against Paladin, they don't necessarily have a lot of ping effects, particularly at 3 mana, so I'm not sure how he would answer that. It might get to attack for 8 damage or so. So I think I'll start with a hallucination and see what we get. And I think that's actually the play. In fact, we could even Argent Protectorate on the following turn to make it even more frustrating to deal with. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but that's how this deck is successful, right? This deck does stuff like that to win games. So we'll see if this sticks. I really genuinely can't think of anything that Paladin can do. We didn't have a great play otherwise. Just the Blood Mage Thalnos is not fantastic on its own. We can combo this out with some of our Razor Petals later to do more work. Okay, Aldor Peacekeeper is actually a fairly solid answer. Just negates my buff. We'll be able to kill it still, though, with the Swashbuckler into the SI7, so we squeezed out a little bit of extra damage, played on curve. I'm actually just fine with that. There are other targets that could be good against. Avenging Wrath, not probably the best. It's pretty slow for a rogue spell, but we're taking firm control of the board early. Okay. Pretty weak hand. Let's start with a hallucination. Smuggler's Run's only going to hit 2 things. Blessed Champion doesn't do anything right now and probably won't ever be good. We just don't have that many big minions. I suppose Rallying Blade is going to work best for us. And I think we can actually go ahead and do it on the following turn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Divine Shield this now. And perhaps even play the Thalnos. Because I don't really feel like developing a weapon if I'm going to overwrite it next turn anyway. The Thalnos, I think, is likely to live. There's a chance he consecrates because there's 3 minions out. I don't know if that'd feel particularly good, though, because they only represent 5 damage. So I think he probably just weapons into the 2/2 and plays a minion, is my feeling for the turn. He could clear if he wants to burn the True Silver on the Divine Shield and consecrate. That'd be fine. I don't think I'd be too upset. We'd at least cycle a card with the Thalnos. We might just Avenging Wrath next turn if it lines up well. There's something to get cleared in our path here. Backstab Avenging Wrath is actually a fair bit of damage, so it's 12 total damage we could pump. Oh, wow. I guess Avenging Wrath actually does look kind of good. When are we going to get a better Avenging Wrath than this, right? Like, we drew it. I mean, we might as well. It's very likely to clear the board and do some face damage. It's not like there's any other plays that are that enticing. Rallying Blade, yes, it buffs this guy, but what else do we do? Not much. Let's just go for it. And it seems like I haven't really seen this deck in action yet, so I'm not... That's actually unfortunate that it didn't clear. I think I'm better off preserving the Divine Shield thanks to Rallying Blade and Cold Blood. So I think I'll trade this to protect the shield. Maybe draw something good. Yeah, that's fine. This could actually be pretty useful with a Cold Blood Vile Spine or Backstab to activate the combo. We've got some tools here. I don't love where our hand is at. We could use an Auctioneer soon. So he's got a Divine Shield as well. I can just Rallying Blade, clear, go face. Mimic Pod. So I guess we open with a Mimic Pod. We don't need to use this or this yet. Just Rallying Blade trade and go face is fine. So let's Mimic Pod first. See what we get. Something good, hopefully. Oh, actually, yeah. That's incredibly good. That's probably our best possible outcome. We could actually go ahead and cold blood that. We're actually getting a lot of damage in. Again, I think it's the kind of thing that could live. It's obviously quite susceptible to another Aldor Peacekeeper, but if he spends 3 mana of his turn Aldor Peacekeeping, he's not going to be able to do a lot more. And, put him at 12. We have a weapon in hand. Just don't have a lot of burst damage in this deck, and I'm sure he has heals, so I'm somewhat hesitant to utilize that until it represents some sort of surprise lethal. I think I'm just going to go ahead and hold it. I'm somewhat worried about taunts and stuff too, getting in the way of this cold blood, and we don't have any chargers in this deck other than patches, I guess. So this might sit, but I think we're likely to stick a board at some point where this probably gets to push through. So he's going to be able to clear here. We can clear back. Actually, just backstab looks good too. That seems sort of risky with his board. We can Gadgets and backstab. Cold blood for extra draw if we need to. But we need to start going. These are going to get cheap too, which is nice. Evis is good. I guess I Evis face, right? He's at 14. If we Evis a minion, there's a chance, though, that the Gadget Sand survives. We can trade Evis. Because he has enough to kill the Gadget Sand right now. We can see it on board. So, he's probably got a way to kill it anyway with things like Consecration. So I think I'm just going to go for the damage to face, honestly. So no prep or anything to go totally ham on this Auctioneer, but we reduced our Arcane Giants. I guess I'll make it as hard as I can. This might force him to trade with a Consecration to actually kill it. Use his face. Take him down to 6. We might have to Cold Blood a Tyrion to remove it if he plays something like that, you know, to set up the combo for the Vile Spine. Whoa! That's a pretty good play. We can destroy that, though. We can Cold Blood it and Vile Spine it if we need to, if we don't get another combo activator. Because right now we don't have a combo activator, so... Gosh, though, I kind of hate to waste... We got a lot of damage incoming. So yeah, we'll Cold Blood it and Vile Spine it. I could pop his face for 4, or I could clear the minion. I think I clear the minion just because it means this is more likely to survive, and as are my Arcane Giants. And I think we're gonna... We kind of already used some of our damage here, so... This hopefully sticks longer at this point. I don't know, maybe wrong. We've kind of gone back and forth on face and minions. It's really somewhat hard to say. I'm glad we didn't burn it now, because he's obviously healing, and he's probably got more heal in his deck, too. I don't know this list well enough to know exactly what they run. Got a 5-mana spell, so it could be Silverhand Recruits, could be Holy Wrath, those kinds of things. Shoot. I wish... Let's see, can we play all of this stuff? I don't think so, right? We play this, we play the spell, that's 3 mana. These each go to 2, so that'd be 5. No, we can't. We might just play 1 Arcane Giant and Vile Spine, the 4/4 here. I'm a little bit worried about, this is a pretty solid play. I'm a little bit worried about like Equality Consecration. I don't know if that's in this deck or not. This is a fairly new list. I'm not familiar with it, but if we go like all in on our Giants, there's a chance our board just gets swiped and we lose the game, which sucks. Yeah, so it looks like that's exactly what's happening, like I said. So I'm glad we saved at least some resource here. Hopefully he's not able to develop something really good. It's not particularly good. In fact, we're going to be able to clear it all. Although I'm wondering if we should maybe save our Lashers here, just in order to get off Auctioneer turns and stuff. Maybe we save 1. Maybe we leave up 1 Silverhand Recruit.
Here we go.
I think I'll just go ahead. Yeah, I think this will help me save one of my guys, perhaps. And gives me some out for, like, Auctioneer, maybe even an Edwin to buff an Edwin slightly. I don't think this is going to get Equality Consecration again. That'd feel pretty bad. Because our hand is empty. And this is sort of our all-in at this point. We're out of gas. That's probably not going to do a lot unless he gets something else with that. He's looking to kill this. Holy Wrath could whiff pretty big. Oh, no! That was not a whiff. He's got a Tyrion, it looks like. Oh my god. What a turn. Bane of Knives is actually a good draw. Yeah. I guess I gotta go all in on the Edwin, right? We'll minimize our damage here. Not exactly a super all-in Edwin, but that whole... He's gonna play Tyrion, though, and I lose the game. He's got an 8-mana card. It's obviously Tyrion. So I don't know what to do. We can ping trade, but we're out of gas. That Holy Wrath was crippling. Absolutely crippling. Wow. I mean, there's actually literally zero better results than that. So if I use my face, I'm actually just dead, right, to weapon Silverhand Recruits. I go down to 6. So I have to use this backstab to even live through the game at this point. I don't have any damage outs. So I gotta clear, I think, in hopes that some sort of minion sticks and makes an impact. But we're just dead in 2 turns. I can't believe that. Ugh. I mean, he might have been able to kill the... He might have been able to kill the Arcane Giant anyway, with the adapt... With the adapted minions, right? Because he had the adapt anyway, so he might have been able to give them even more attack and stuff. But, whew, that was brutal. But we'll never know. He could have also gotten some junk, right? He might have gotten poisonous. He might have gotten... That would have been good. He might have gotten +4 attack again. That would have been good. There were quite a few outs, but there's also the chance he got Taunt and Wind Fury and +3 health, which wouldn't have helped at all. We would have had an 8-8 that won the game, right? So, well, I don't know that would have won the game, but it would have made us a much better spot. So that sucks. That one burns a little bit. Although we didn't really know what was in his deck, so that's a little bit on us, right? When you're not educated, you can't make great plays. We went a little fast on our Auctioneer, I think. But from what I remember, there weren't a ton of other great plays yet. And we were hoping to find some bail-out options. So maybe that was my fault going too early on the Auctioneer. Certainly wasn't one of those classic Auctioneer turns. We didn't have preps, we didn't have counterfeit coins. If this is Pirate, I'm gonna really regret keeping the Auctioneer, but if it's Taunt, I might want it. But regardless, I think we'll get rid of it just in case. I think I'll keep the Sherazin just as a sort of on-curve play. Maybe we should toss it back, though, for the Burglars and the Razor Petals. Just look for curve. As much as I think this is great against Warrior, I want to make sure I don't fall too far behind early. It's very, very likely it's Quest Warrior, in which case I want to keep Sherazin. So let's do it. Let's keep it. I'll probably regret it. It's probably Pirate, but we can sort that out as it comes. These are not bad cards.
I can't do that.
They do run Executes if it's Quest, so that's a great draw. It's fine. Hallucination will be fine too. We can weapon as well. This probably won't get us a lot of value in this matchup, but it is a minion. If it's Pirates, it's going to be amazing. Oh! It is Pirates! Cool. Upgrade, too. Nice. Well, we're not in a bad spot. We can weapon and trade. Something like a... Oh... Is this better? I don't think it's better yet. I think we just weapon to develop the weapon and trade. Get the Pirate off the board to prevent shenanigans. We can do both of these next turn. This also maybe gets me into a turn 4 Edwin that's halfway sizable, right? Backstab would have been a just incredible draw. Fortunately, we didn't get the backstab. Let's hallucinate first, and then we'll just Razor Petal. Alternatively, we can just Heroic Strike to clear. It prevents a turn 3 Bloodsail Cultist value play, where he gets another a buff on his weapon. But actually, I don't even know that I care if he gets a buff on his weapon, frankly, because I don't know that it's that strong. We could just use this to kill the Bloodsail Cultist on a following turn. I think we'll just go ahead and play this guy. Although that does make the Bloodsail Cultist far more valuable, because he can then utilize the weapon to kill the Blood Petal Lasher. So my logic tells me to take Pirates off the board when you're supposed to take Pirates off the board. But then I can't do a great Edwin, but I do have a good turn 4 shares, and so I guess this is the line. We're going to regret this if he plays Frothing a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Just didn't line up great. I was tempted by the Heroic Strike. Perhaps we should have just stuck to our line. Actually, Sharazin lines up fine against Frothing. It's okay. Could also Swashbuckle into Edwin for a 4/4. I think I like this better because we can use these cheaper cards with Vile Spine. And if this does die, we can probably activate it relatively easily moving forward. And it doesn't actually die to the Frothing, so it might just get a good trade here. You could have Fire War Axe or something to clear, but we'll have to deal with that as it comes. Yeah, crap. Oh, that's a good turn, guys. It's a really good turn. Now I wish we had the Heroic Strike, and I wish we'd taken a different line. Let's start here. That's good next turn. It's not good right now. Getting a Lasher doesn't help me at all. Cold Blooding doesn't actually help me at all. But I can Cold Blood Edwin for a fairly sizable Edwin, so I guess I will. This is likely to trade into one of these guys. The real problem, of course, is that he has 11 damage on hand, and we're at 18. So, like, Leroy puts us nearly dead. Korkron puts us nearly dead. He's trading, thankfully, but I mean, he gets 1 damage back, so he didn't lose too much there. We can Ironforge Portal, Shield Slam. Never thought I'd say that, but it's okay. We'll trade into the highest health, lowest attack value minion here. And then hopefully this gives me some sort of taunt. Be so unbelievably good. That could still give me a taunt. We'll Shield Slam the highest attack guy there. No taunt. That's a little sad. So there's a good chance we're dead to Arcanite Reaper here. We didn't get to activate our Sharazin, which is sad, but we had to make this play. It's the only reasonable play. We're dead. Yeah, I actually think we could have taken a different line there to deny the Fire War Axe value, and I think we would have won the game. He probably could have gotten Korkron value on the Edwin anyway. That was a different option, but I think playing the Edwin on 4 instead of the Sharazin against the Frothing Berserker was better. I also think saving the Heroic Strike probably would have been better in hindsight. We played around Bloodsail Cultist a little bit too much and not Frothing Berserker, so there were a couple different lines there that probably got us out of that game. Maybe we lost anyway because it's Pirates and they always find ways to dig out wins, but it didn't feel like we really got what we wanted to accomplish done. This is almost certainly a Waygate Mage, and I have no idea how to play this matchup against a Waygate Mage, I have to be honest. I'm going to keep my early game stuff and hope to apply a lot of pressure, I think. That's really all I know to do. Could be Elemental Mage, but it's almost certainly Waygate Mage. In which case, we have to kill them before they kill us, because we don't have combo breakers like Dirty Rat and all that fun stuff, so we need to apply pressure, get minions on the board, get shares in value, that kind of stuff. But ultimately, I don't know, I have a feeling this is not going to be a favorable matchup for me, so I think I'm learning a lot about how to play this deck as we go. Don't think I'm an expert by any means, as I sort of teased near the beginning, so maybe by the end of it, we'll understand our lines of play a little bit better. I still don't feel like we've really seen the deck at full throttle yet, though. That's the one thing that concerns me. Of course, we haven't actually seen a prep or anything of the nature yet, so that might make one difference, is being able to actually prep out cards, because prep, of course, is really the, other than, I guess, Auctioneer, the fundamental piece of Miracle Rogue. It's hard to pull off miracles without the cards that actually inspire miracles, right? Okay, he's thinking about his quest here. Not a quest. That is really interesting. He probably well, he can't think I'm quest because I'm not playing the quest. So I'm not sure why he, I'm gonna go ahead and utilize the weapon. We have enough, like, quick damage that I think it's fine to waste a charge. Just get that extra point and it might make the difference some point later. I mean, he doesn't have to activate the quest if he thinks the hero power is going to give him more immediate value. That's totally fine, especially if he doesn't have any spells. It's not like he's wasting time. He's likely just queuing it up to get some hero power value. Totally reasonable. Good play. In fact, someone who played the quest instead of trying to get faster value would probably be making a misplay. I'll just go ahead and throw this down. It's not going to hit anything good probably throughout the course of this matchup. I don't really want it to hit a Doomsayer, so if I can get the value now as opposed to later off something that's not a Doomsayer, it might help me more than ever again. And I don't really have a desirable play other than cycling Fan of Knives, which I think there's better options than that. We do have a good Auctioneer hand for that point in our life if we get there. And he's got to worry about what this is. He thinks it's Counterspell. He can't play the quest. If it's Counterspell, his quest is unplayable right now. He has to test it. That's fine. If this is Waygate Mage, that could have broken his combo a little bit. I don't think this is Waygate Mage. I think that this is... this to me looks more like Aggro Mage. So I think I'll just backstab SI. It's the only good way to activate the SI is why we backstab. I want to save these counterfeit coins for a more valuable turn. I don't think a Waygate Mage plays his Sorcerer's Apprentice that early, just for tempo, and I don't think they run Mirror Image at all. So I think this is signaling sort of an aggro Mage with ice blocks, a lot of card draw. That's probably an ice block. I guess we could have Blood Mage Thalnos fanned last turn. It would have cleared the board, but I just like developing the body. I may actually just do it now, just to cycle twice, basically, and push some extra damage to face, and play on curve. Or we'll get Counterspelled. That's fine, too. The deck that I thought this was, which is an aggro mage, only runs ice blocks as their secrets. This might be a secret mage, actually. I've heard of rumblings of that, too. It sucks not knowing what kind of deck you're playing, doesn't it? It's a little bit frustrating. But that's what makes Unguro so fun, too, is like everything is different. What? Like I said, don't silence the only one that matters. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, you never really know. Should I just go in on this? Does he have Polymorph? Is this the kind of deck that runs Polymorph? He runs Servant of Yogg-Saron. So he probably runs Polymorph, right? I could fan, trade. Let's just do that. Let's just cycle this fan. It seems like he's going to have more high-cost cards if he's running like a random 5-drop. So, I think I'm just going to go meager on the Edwin here. I don't think I'm going to pump it up with coins. I think that's just... It's a 4/4 now. This is 6/6, 8/8. I don't know. We could sap, actually, but it's just not worth it, guys. I think I'm just going to play it where it's at. Gonna need an Auctioneer soon, though, or something to do. Looks like another Frostbolt's incoming. Arcane Explosion Ping. Arcane Missiles. Oh, these could miss big. Or, oh, they did miss big, actually. Sick. That's great news for me. Let's Swashbuckle. Sick card. This is really insane. Thistle Tea, thank you. Yeah, 4 cost draw right now. We're going to lose our hero power, though. It's alright, though. He could ping it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'd rather just do this while I can. Wow. He's out of cards. I'm just going to go... I mean, like I said, he could ping this off, so the fact that he can trade, I don't think it's going to be very relevant. We're going to have some cheap Arcane Giants soon, guys. Wow. And Mage has good cards, too. This is sick. Imagine if we get an Antonitis. We can go absolutely ham. Just totally crazy with an Antonitis. We could have the best turn in history. I mean, you know, 3 1-cost cards is not typically what you'd want to see off a Thistle Tea, right? Like you'd expect. You'd want some more chunk, some more meat to your mana cost on average, but these give you that. Like this turns into a Fireball, turns into a Flame Strike, turns into a Fireball, right? Another Arcane Missiles. This one's very likely to hit successfully. He still whiffed on the minions. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Like our health's getting a little bit precarious. I'm a tad worried about it, but let's just discover some cards, right? I think Arcane Missiles is fine. It cheapens the Arcane Giant. It probably resolves the board. If we got some secrets, like we might want one of these, but we don't know yet, so unfortunately we're just going to take this, I think. Ice Barrier is kind of intriguing. We could use these to heal ourselves a little bit more, just to give us more time. I think I'm going to actually pick this. Flame Strike's likely not going to be relevant given how few cards he has, and this doesn't give us quick enough value. Believe it or not, I'm going to take the Ice Barrier, which makes me regret the choice we made previously. We got to make sure we save mana for the Arcane Giant here, so this will reduce the cost by 2. So it'll go down to 3. Let's we can counterfeit coin out an Arcane Giant if we want, as silly as that sounds. I think I'll just go ahead and Arcane Intellect. This is fine. We don't have to play the Giant just yet. I basically want this to give me 7 health, right? Because if he only ever uses spells to kill me, we'll never get it. So if I kill the minions now, I may never actually get the Ice Barrier value. Counterfeit coining an Arcane Giant sounds like a ridiculous thing to do, right? Because it's basically each one you cast is like a 2 mana benefit in the cost's favor. Because you're gaining a mana and you reduce the cost by a mana, so it's kind of silly. Auctioneer would be just a sick... Whoa. I can sap that, thankfully, to ensure its kill, but I'm wondering if there's any other way I might be able to deal with it. Hallucination could give me a great answer. Shatter and Blizzard together would be sick, but one or the other doesn't really help. Might actually just take this because it's like the body that's relevant, right? The other two probably aren't going to get me much. So we're going to sap as a last resort. Let's see what we get off Arcane Intellect. We might get a Vile Spine Slayer. We have enough room in our hand to draw both. Clutch. Even at the exact right mana cost, too. So we can attack this now that it procced our shield here. That's all we cared about. Do I just want to coin out the 8/8? Yeah, I think now is the time. We have enough resources in hand. It's fine. Is there anything else to do? No, we'll save those. Guaranteed damage is more significant. We do have 8, 11, 12 damage available right now, plus 11 on board. So if he doesn't do anything, there's a chance we can kill him. Does he run that, or did he draw that? Babbling Book. Okay, well, we didn't play around that. That's true. Man, this can always backfire pretty significantly, but let's do it, and then we'll just load up an Arcane Giant. Well, I actually don't mind. Like, it's not my favorite play ever, but it got us an Auctioneer, and that's worth something. Yeah, we developed a big body anyway, so I think we're in a good spot. We still have a ton of damage. This is 8. 11 plus 8 is 20. 21 damage. We can sap through a taunt if for some reason he runs a taunt. This is not guaranteed damage, though, so we may not have it if he plays some minions. But with Auctioneer, we can just go crazy right now. Actually, we can sap, so it is guaranteed damage, probably, as long as he doesn't play multiple dudes. We're probably just going to find a win here. Firelance Portal, does that kill it, or just develop a body for you? That's the question. Okay, so there's a good chance we have lethal here if we figure it out, right? So we can sap. We don't even have to sap, right? We can Cold Blood. That's 12. This is 13 plus 4 is 17. 2 of these would have to hit. It's not a guarantee at all. So we don't have guaranteed lethal. Let's start with an Auctioneer here.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Go ahead and kick off with the coin, I think. We'll end up using the mana anyway, because we have sap, eviscerate, Cold Blood. I'll sap. I guess I'll sap this. It's actually more threatening. We don't want to sap this because it actually gives him some sort of onboard effect. Even though it has more health and can, you know. Backstab might help me deal with it anyway. We'll see. Oh my god, I'm running out of time, guys. I'm running out of time. I'll just... No, I'm going to go face. Whew, we barely made it, boys. Is he dead? Is the game over? There's a chance the game's over. Nah, didn't hit right.
I'm almost out of cards.
Didn't hit right.
I'm out of cards.
Man, I drew a lot at the end. Jeez. Oh, I drew too much. Oh my god. Hope I'm not dead. It's probably not possible at 2023, but thankfully all we need is a weapon to end the game. Just one other Arcane Missile, we would have had it. Could have missed it, probably, I don't know. Maybe with a Vile Spine, with a Razor Petal Lasher. I don't think we had guaranteed, though. I played those last 2 preps in the Mimic Pod so fast, I felt like. So fast. That won't do it. That's game. He's just conceding fancy. That's a fancy concede. Sad that we were 1 off with those Arcane Missiles. That's pretty funny. Yay! Well, of course we completed that quest. Oh, that's a funny quest to complete. So, I know I only played a few games there, and they probably went pretty quickly, but I think that's actually going to wrap it up for me in the Miracle Grow Rogue. That last game, basically, we played through the entire deck, so we saw absolutely everything. We had some big moments. We saw some clutch draws. We played against a deck we didn't really know what it was about, but I think we saw exactly what the deck can do and what it's designed to do. The huge Vile Spine Slayer, the huge Gadgets and Auctioneer turn, the big-bodied Arcane Giants that your opponent just can't deal with, a little bit of damage from hand with, you know, the Eviscerates and the Cold Bloods. So we kind of got a picture of everything that that the deck wants to do. And we won a game and found some success. Now, I'm not the best Miracle Grow Rogue player in the world. In fact, I'm probably one of the worst. And if I can win with this deck, and if I can find success, basically only having played it 3 times at a fairly high level on the ladder, at, you know, already ranked 4, like I said, early in the season, then I'm sure other people can find success with this list too. So if this looks like something fun to you, if you've got shares in laying around, you want to give it a try, you love Miracle Rogue, this list is going to bring you a lot of joy, I think. So give it a shot. Go out there and play it much better than myself. All that said, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, feedback about this deck or this video, leave them in the comments below. I probably won't be able to respond, but I know a lot of great members of my community will be happy to discuss things with you, make recommendations, suggestions for replacements, and all that fun stuff. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.